In this content piece, we delve into the intricate and often challenging world of legal judgments through the lens of Associate Justice Mario Lopez, the esteemed chairman of the 2024 Bar's examinations. We will explore 5 intriguing cases out of the 150 he presided over, shedding light on the complexities and nuances of legal proceedings. Our journey begins with the case of People v. Jerrie Arraz, a disturbing narrative of human trafficking and sexual exploitation. It reveals the dark underbelly of society, where minors are preyed upon and subjected to unspeakable acts. This case is a stark reminder of the relentless efforts needed to combat such heinous crimes. We then transition to People v. Mark Anthony Barrientos and Ronron Go, a case revolving around the sensitive issue of rape. The harrowing experiences of the victim and the meticulous judicial process exemplify the gravity with which such cases are handled in our legal system. In People v. Ombak, we witness the tragic story of a minor repeatedly abused in a setting that should have been safe. This case underscores the importance of protecting the vulnerable and ensuring justice is served. People v. Lito Corpuz presents another distressing tale of a minor exploited by someone in a position of trust. The case emphasizes the significance of giving a voice to victims and the pivotal role of credible testimony in achieving justice. Lastly, Universal Rabina Corporation v. Roberto de Guzman Maglaling shifts our focus to the corporate world, highlighting a case of alleged illegal dismissal. This case balances the fine line between employee rights and corporate regulations, offering a different perspective on justice.
These cases represent just a fragment of the vast legal landscape Associate Justice Mario Lopez has navigated. Each case is a testament to the complexities of the legal system and the relentless pursuit of justice. For those intrigued by these narratives and seeking a deeper understanding of the judicial process, we invite you to subscribe and join us on this enlightening journey. Your subscription will unlock more insights and discussions on these and other compelling legal cases, offering a unique window into the world of law and justice. They were married under the Civil Code, but did the sale of their land after the Family Code make the sale of land invalid? Let us see the answer in the case decided by the Supreme Court decision entitled Alexander v. Escalona, GR number 256141, July 19, 2022.
This is the 16th of the 160 cases decided by Associate Justice Mario Lopez, 2024 Philippine Bar Examination. Subscribe for more.
Facts of the case. Jorge Escalona and Hilaria Escalona were married on November 14, 1960 under the Civil Code. They acquired 2 parcels of land, lot numbers 1 and 2, during their marriage. On June 16, 1998, Jorge waived his rights over lot number 1 in favor of his illegitimate son Reagan Escalona, without the consent of his wife Hilaria. On July 28, 2005, Reagan relinquished his rights over lot number 1 to Belinda Alexander. On August 8, 2005, Reagan also transferred lot number 2 to Belinda. Lastly, on August 10, 2005, Reagan executed a deed of absolute sale covering lot numbers 1 and 2 in favor of Belinda for $1.6 million. On September 5, 2005, spouses Escalona filed a complaint for annulment of the documents against Belinda and Reagan. They claimed that Hilaria did not consent to the waiver over lot number 1 and that they never transferred lot number 2 to anyone. The RTC dismissed the complaint on the ground of prescription. However, the CA reversed and nullified the transactions, holding that the sale of conjugal property without the wife's consent is void under the Family Code. Issue of the case. Whether the sale of conjugal property without the wife's consent is merely voidable or void if the spouses were married during the effectivity of the Civil Code but the questioned transaction occurred after the Family Code took effect.
Ruling of the case. The SC held that the sale is void under Article 124 of the Family Code since the transaction happened in 1998, after the effectivity of the Family Code in 1988. The Escalona spouses did not acquire any vested right over the properties before 1988. Hence, Article 124, which requires the consent of both spouses, applies. The sale without the wife's consent is void.
Doctrines of the case. Date of alienation of conjugal property determines applicable law, not date of marriage. Sale without consent under Civil Code is voidable. Under Family Code is void. Family Code has retroactive effect if no vested rights are impaired. Buyer who relied on void deed is not in good faith. Whether the father can apply for protection and custody orders against the mother under RA 9262 for committing acts of violence against their child. Let us know the decision of the Supreme Court in the decision entitled Knutson v. Knutson, GR number 239215, July 12, 2022.
This is case 17th of 160 cases decided by Associate Justice Mario Lopez, 2024 Philippine Bar Examination. Subscribe now.
Facts of the case. Randy Michael Knutson, Randy, and Rosalina Sybil Knutson, Rosalina, had a daughter named Ruby Sybil Knutson, Ruby. After becoming estranged, Randy discovered Rosalina's vices and neglect of Ruby, including inflicting psychological and physical harm on the child. Randy filed a petition under RA 9262 on behalf of Ruby for the issuance of protection orders against Rosalina. The RTC dismissed the petition, ruling that under RA 9262 the remedies are not available against a mother who allegedly abused her own child. The CA denied Randy's motion for reconsideration.
Issue: whether the father can apply for protection and custody orders against the mother under RA 9262 for committing acts of violence against their child.
Ruling. The Supreme Court granted the petition and held that under Section 9b of RA 9262, the law explicitly allows the parents, including the father, of the offended party to file a petition for protection orders. The use of the gender-neutral term, person, as offender in Section 3a of RA 9262 also shows that a mother can be liable for committing violence against her own child. The legislative intent is to provide all possible protection to children. The court refused to be an instrument of injustice against vulnerable children. Important doctrines. RA 9262 allows the father of the offended party, child, to apply for protection and custody orders against the mother. RA 9262 covers a situation where the mother committed violent and abusive acts against her own child. The law uses the term, any person, as offender, which includes women who abuse their children.
Great.
If your life was on the line, how far would you go to defend yourself? A controversial self-defense case is making headlines in the Philippines. Learn the answer here in the recent decision of the Supreme Court entitled Leo Abuyo y Sagri v. People of the Philippines GR number 250495, July 6, 2022.
This is case 18 of 160 decided by Associate Justice Mario Lopez, 2024 Philippine Bar Examination Chairman. Subscribe for more.
Facts of the case. On August 16, 2011, petitioner Leo Abuyo y Sagri, Leo, and his wife were on their way home when they were blocked by Cesar Tapal, Cesar, and Charles Tapal, Charles, who were armed with a fan knife and a gun. Leo and his wife managed to get away, but Charles pursued them. Charles went to the house of Leo's father Leonardo and kicked the fence and threatened them. When Leonardo tried to pacify Charles, Cesar suddenly appeared and stabbed Leonardo. Leonardo ran to Leo's house but Cesar pursued him. Leo went out of the house and confronted Cesar. Cesar tried to stab Leo, so Leo grabbed a bolo and hacked Caesar's right hand, disarming him. However, Cesar managed to regain possession of the knife and tried to attack Leo again. Leo stabbed Cesar in the abdomen, which resulted in Caesar's death. Leo voluntarily surrendered to the police after the incident. Leo was charged with homicide. He claimed he acted in self-defense and defense of Leonardo. The trial court found Leo guilty of homicide but appreciated the mitigating circumstances of incomplete self-defense and voluntary surrender. The CA affirmed the conviction.
Primary issue: whether Leo acted in self-defense and defense of a relative in killing Cesar.
Supreme Court ruling. The Supreme Court acquitted Leo on the ground of self-defense and defense of a relative. It ruled that the unlawful aggression came from Cesar, who pursued and tried to stab Leo and Leonardo. When Leo disarmed Cesar the first time, the unlawful aggression did not cease because Cesar was able to regain possession of the knife and attempted to stab Leo again. Thus, Leo had reasonable grounds to believe that they were in imminent danger, entitling him to defend himself and Leonardo.
Important doctrines. 1. Unlawful aggression is an indispensable element of self-defense and defense of a relative. There must be real danger to life or personal safety. 2. The reasonableness of the means employed to repel the attack depends on the totality of the circumstances, not just the weapons used. Rational equivalence between the danger and response is required, not material commensurability. 3. The accused's subjective belief of danger is viewed from their perspective at the time, not in hindsight. They cannot be expected to act with tranquility of mind as in normal conditions. 4. Flight indicates guilt but voluntary surrender indicates innocence. The accused did not flee but surrendered voluntarily. Have you heard about the shocking Philippine Supreme Court decision that sentenced an individual to life imprisonment for cybercrime and human trafficking, setting a groundbreaking precedent in the fight against digital exploitation? Learn it here in the decision of the Supreme Court entitled People of the Philippines vs. Jerrie Arraz y Rodriguez, GR number 252353 with date of promulgation, July 6, 2022.
This is the 19th of 160 case penned by Associate Justice Mario Lopez, 2024 Philippine Bar Chairman. Subscribed for similar contents.
Facts of the case. Jerrie Arraz y Rodriguez was charged with the trafficking of a person identified as AAA 252353, rape, and violation of the Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012. The charges included the recruitment and exploitation of AAA 252353 for sexual purposes, pornography production, and rape committed in various instances from March to June 2014. AAA 252353, from Surigao del Sur, moved to Manila to work as a domestic helper and eventually joined Jerrie's household, where she was compelled into various sexual acts for profit. Jerrie forced AAA 252353 to perform oral sex, have intercourse with him, and pose naked for an online audience. He also took photos of these acts and sent them to foreign clients. Additionally, Jerrie arranged for AAA 252353 to meet and have sexual intercourse with his foreigner friends, often in exchange for money. These instances of exploitation and rape occurred numerous times over the span of several months. AAA 252353's testimony detailed the harrowing experience, including being sexually assaulted while pregnant and while intoxicated. Jerrie's abuse extended to other minors under his care. The prosecution presented evidence from digital forensic examination, which supported AAA 252,353's claims. Jerrie denied the allegations, claiming the charges were fabricated, and presented witnesses to support his defense. However, the trial court found Jerrie guilty of all charges, a decision later affirmed by the Court of Appeals.
Primary issue in the Supreme Court. The primary issue was whether the Court of Appeals erred in affirming Jerrie's conviction for trafficking in persons, rape, and violation of the Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012.
Decision of the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court dismissed Jerrie's appeal and affirmed the Court of Appeals' decision. The court held that Jerrie was guilty beyond reasonable doubt of qualified trafficking in persons, 3 counts of rape, and violation of the Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012. The court found AAA 252,353's testimony credible and supported by the evidence. Jerrie's defense of denial was considered weak against the prosecution's evidence. The court also ruled that Jerrie's arrest was a valid entrapment operation and not instigation. Important doctrines. 1. Credibility of victims' testimony. In cases of rape and human trafficking, the victim's testimony is given significant weight when it is categorical, straightforward, and credible. 2. Qualification of trafficking. Trafficking in persons is qualified when committed over a period of 60 days or more. 3. Role of digital evidence. The digital forensic evidence plays a crucial role in substantiating the charges of cyber-related offenses.
Four. Entrapment versus instigation. The distinction between entrapment and instigation is critical in determining the validity of law enforcement operations. Entrapment is valid while instigation is not. 5. Penalties for trafficking and cybercrime. The court adheres to specific guidelines in imposing penalties and damages for trafficking in persons and cybercrime offenses, emphasizing the gravity of these crimes.
Unbelievable turnaround. From being wrongfully accused and facing jail time, to a landmark legal victory that's shaking up labor laws in the Philippines. This machine operator's fight against a corporate giant turned into a victory for workers everywhere. His story is a testament to resilience and justice, proving that one person really can make a difference.
Learn here with the Supreme Court decision entitled Universal Robina Corporation versus Roberto de Guzman Maglaling, GR number 255864, July 6, 2022.
This is the 20th of the 160 cases penned by Associate Justice Mario Lopez, 2024 Philippine Bar Exam Chairman. Subscribe for more.
Facts of the case. Roberto de Guzman Maglaling, a machine operator at URC since November 17, 1997, was accused of stealing a bottle of ethyl alcohol from the company. On March 26, 2015, after cleaning his motorcycle with the company-provided alcohol, he inadvertently left the bottle in his bag. A security guard noticed the bottle during an inspection, leading to Roberto's detainment and charges of qualified theft. He faced preventive suspension and criminal charges, which were later dismissed following a compromise agreement that waived mutual claims related to the theft. URC issued a notice to explain to Roberto, who failed to submit a satisfactory explanation and was terminated on May 14, 2015, for serious misconduct. Roberto contended that he didn't intend to steal, and the item's low value, P60.00, should mitigate the severity of the offense. He filed a case for illegal dismissal after his termination. The labor arbiter dismissed Roberto's complaint, finding him guilty of serious misconduct. This decision was upheld by the National Labor Relations Commission, NLRC. However, on appeal, the Court of Appeals, CA, reversed these decisions, ruling that Roberto was illegally dismissed. The CA considered the minimal value of the alcohol, its recovery, and Roberto's long service with no prior record of misconduct. It held that the dismissal was disproportionate to the offense and granted Roberto separation pay and back wages.
Primary issue in the Supreme Court. Whether Roberto's act of taking the alcohol constituted serious misconduct warranting dismissal under Article 297, 282, of the Labor Code.
Supreme Court decision. The Supreme Court partly granted the petition. It agreed with the CA that Roberto's dismissal was disproportionate to his misconduct. Considering factors like his long service without a derogatory record, the minimal value of the alcohol, and its recovery, the court found the penalty of dismissal too harsh. Roberto's preventive suspension was deemed a sufficient penalty. The court, however, modified the CA's decision by deleting the award of back wages and attorney's fees. It held that while Roberto was illegally dismissed, he was not entitled to back wages since URC acted in good faith, believing his misconduct was serious under the Labor Code. The court also ruled that Roberto was not entitled to attorney's fees as he was not dismissed in bad faith. The case was remanded to the labor arbiter for the computation of separation pay due to Roberto from the date of his employment until his illegal dismissal, with legal interest.
Important doctrines discussed. (1) Proportionality of penalty to misconduct. Misconduct must be serious and related to the employee's duties, performed with wrongful intent. The gravity of the misconduct should match the severity of the penalty imposed. 2. Consideration of various factors in misconduct cases. Factors like length of service, employee's record, value of the item involved, and its impact on the employer's operations are crucial in determining the appropriateness of dismissal. 3. Good faith of employer in dismissal. An employer's good faith belief in the seriousness of an employee's misconduct may mitigate the consequences of an illegal dismissal, impacting the award of back wages and attorney's fees.